It makes me sad. You know what? I reject that. I say we bring civil liberties back to the left.
That would be great. But of course, RFK here has a lot to say, and we're going to talk about it. So here's the clip.
Price of housing go up because we spent $8 trillion on wars and $16 trillion on COVID, which we didn't have. They print money, which caused the price of everything to go up.
So let's just, and that's a great freeze frame right there. He's totally channeling his Trump base in that spot. I hope people recognize that. So here's the problem with what RFK is saying. Is he right that printing money causes inflation? Yes. However, he's not addressing it from the MMT perspective. The reason why inflation is happening is twofold. One, the money is being printed and it is only going into a select few people's hands.
Who are price gouging.
Do they have to? Of course not. But this is the same argument that I have given time and again.
No, they're making record profits.
100%.
So if a company's making record profits and yet the prices are going up, that's a sign that it's sort of like the jig is up. We see you.
You could say that the jig is up and then
we see you. It isn't just from printing the money. That's not the thing. You know the thing.
You know the thing.
It isn't from printing money.
So if you're not going to talk about modern monetary theory in the context that we have, if you want to talk about a pie would work well here. So you have a pie and the money is printed and it's supposed to go evenly distributed through the pie. Instead, what's happening is that about 1 to 2% is actually getting all of it. And then they're determining how the rest of it's getting dispersed. And I can assure you that how it's being dispersed is not going to help working people at all.
It's not a pie.
I'm using it in context so people can understand.
But I know we need to stop saying, we have to stop reinforcing that. I feel like every time we have a guest on, I feel like I correct everybody now. I feel like I do my best to explain it as rudimentary as I can, make Steve proud. But I feel like we have to consistently be calling this out.
And again, Jesus, yes, but you're looking at it again from a libertarian free market perspective.
It isn't just about supply chains.
One element of that is not the only part of it. That's not what it is.
Because Bo did a great piece on this about that. Yeah, it got to a point when it was no longer about supply chains a long time ago.
Right.
Okay. So for a very short period of time during COVID, yes, for a very short period of time, there was a supply chain problem. That is not what we're seeing. What we're seeing is corporate greed piggybacking on that and using everything about COVID as a slush fund for them to get more, like a bailout.
Big time. All right, here we go.
2 years ago, the average cost of a house in this country was $215,000. Today it's $400,000. There's three.
That is absolutely correct.
It's insane.
And that is an absolute insanity.
It's insanity.
And all the while, they're creating this austerity economy where everyone knows that in terms of housing, we're behind anywhere from 3 to 4 million homes. That is insane. And that could take a decade, maybe more.
But what is that number based on? Because I got to tell you, I see a lot of empty units and a lot of empty places. So what is that? I don't. You're going on unhoused people.
You're looking at it from the unhoused people perspective. The problem is that you have
That's the only perspective I care about.
What you also have is a lot of well, again, this is the thing about corporate housing, which is a big part of the problem. Corporate landlords, if you guys are not familiar with them, the one I can tell you about because I lived it when Jen ran for Congress, I had to stay in a home that was part of Invitation Homes. Now, let me tell you, was a nightmare.
This is definitely not a plug.
No, this is a nightmare of epic proportions. You literally are renting a corporate landlord's home. And if there is ever a problem, it is not the landlord's problem. It's your problem.
Yeah, we need to get rid of that. And that, to me, that is one of the biggest problems. We need to get rid of corporate home ownership like this.
Oh, absolutely.
And I am not exactly sure the ways in which the thing is to be done that way, but I know there's really smart people out there that have thought this through.
Henry Kajawa, always great to see you. Your brother paid $25K for a large row house in order to keep it out of the hands of a corrupt. We are looking at this now, and I'm in commercial real estate, and I look at it as how can I avoid having to deal with Blackstone, State Street, and Vanguard? How do I avoid having to? Well, you can. You just have to make the moral choice, and the overwhelming majority of people are not going to make the moral choice. They're going to make the economic choice.
Right.
Whoever's going to give them the most money is where they're going.
Which is where we want the government.
That's when the government has a place.
And step in and say, we're not going to let the housing industry screw our people. We're not going to let the pharmaceutical industry screw our people because we are of the people and for the people, and we're not of those industries. That's what we want to happen.
Yeah, it's true. Here we go.
Giant corporations, BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard. They also own 89% of the S&P 500. They've now decided to buy every single family home in America. If they stay on the current trajectory, they will own 60% of the homes in this country, single family homes, by 2030.
That's
I don't think you
horrifying.
understand how absolutely insane and dangerous this is. And the fact that he is the only person running for president, he's the only person that I know of that's running for office of any federal capacity that is saying this.
This is, people don't realize how important this is, because basically this is what it will return us exponentially to that serf class. Like, we are returning to the peasant class where we work at the behest of our lords who own the properties, because that's very scary. One of the biggest things in this country that came about after, it was even before FDR. Just the whole concept of that your home ownership is your wealth. That's your nest egg. And that is one of the things that a lot of groups of people have been precluded from having for forever and a day. But now it's pretty much everyone is going to be, the majority of people are going to be precluded in a way that they have never been precluded before from having that nest egg.
Yeah.
And that's really scary. You're pushing more and more people into insecurity.
You're right. Here we go.
Your kids do not have a chance to buy that home because they can't outcompete BlackRock. I'm going to change the tax code to make it unprofitable for those companies to compete against your children. I'm going to make a mortgage available to Americans at 3% interest. I'm going to finance those mortgages by selling tax-free bonds on the open market.
Okay, so here's the key.
I can't validate it, but it sounds like a plan.
It is a great plan. And the reason why he's saying 3% is because we currently do have FHA loans in this country that start at 3%. What he's basically saying is we're going to open it up to everyone who is not part of these mega corporations. If that is the case, 3% is of an interest rate that we saw prior to the insanity of the COVID pandemic, because now interest rates are more than double that amount, and people cannot afford to pay that, at least not the average person. A 3% mortgage rate is probably the cap where people reasonably within the working class would be able to afford to do it. And so that is an ironclad policy position that a presidential candidate is espousing that I overwhelmingly support. This is absolutely correct. And the fact that no one else is talking about it, but because you don't like my position.
It sounds like the truth is I do not in any way understand enough about housing interest rates, any of that economic mumbo jumbo. But the fact that somebody is stating a potential solution is always going to get my attention. Okay, so here's somebody who has a plan. That's cool. I'm with a plan. I also bet he believes in raising the tax rate. The corporate tax rate. He's probably in favor of a lot of things in the tax code that would benefit people. I still can't support him though.
Got to get right on Israel, baby.
And at this point, it's too late. But I still appreciate that somebody's putting forth a housing plan.
Sure. Here we go.
To first-time home buyers who will live in that community, who will work in that community. We need to create housing for teachers to keep the best teachers in our schools.
He's right.
We have that problem with all industries everywhere. We have people that can't, most people that I know that are working people, okay, not people that can conduct their business by a phone call while their driver is taking them to and from offices, okay, like working people. Most people I know that are working people don't live anywhere near where they work.
No, we see that.
Very few people that, I almost have never, I don't know anyone.
Well, we've seen that in law enforcement. Like that's a common thing.
That's its own kind of problem.
Yeah, of course. But that's another problem. We'll see people that live around here that are working in Miami, which doesn't make any sense. You're not working in your community. You're not building roots. Those things are not happening. Whereas here, RFK is addressing this problem head on, which is the complete foundational rot within the current economic system. And there is no saving it because not enough people are willing to say that we have to end the private equity industrial complex, because that's where it starts.
You can't fix problems you don't acknowledge.
Of course. The idea that you can work on a computer screen all day, every day in the heart of Manhattan and San Francisco, and all you're doing is just moving money around, and you are getting rich beyond human comprehension for doing nothing. You're not actually creating anything.
Well, that's the case for a lot of industries. Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.